As you guys know, I have been playing Call of Duty for a long time. I started back in World at War. I even played a little bit of Call of Duty 4. And throughout that time, Call of Duty has really changed. Whether that be something recent like manual health regeneration, or whether that be something a little bit further in the past, like switching from kill streaks to point streaks, and then later to score streaks. Call of Duty has changed a lot, but I have to say, not all of the changes that have been made have necessarily been for the better. Today, what we are going to be looking at is the 10 best things that have been removed from Call of Duty. So first of all, these things that we're going to talk about today are in no particular order. I don't want number 1 more than I want number 10 or anything like that. These are just the 10 things that I thought were the best that are currently not within Call of Duty. For example, a couple of days ago, I actually tweeted saying that my most wanted feature back in Call of Duty is wager matches from Black Ops 1. Now, if you don't know what wager matches were, first of all, you have to know what Call of Duty points were. And no, not those Call of Duty points. I mean, these Call of Duty points. These Call of Duty points were very different in Black Ops 1. First of all, you couldn't buy them for money, and the only way to get them was simply by playing the game and completing challenges. With these, you could purchase weapons, camos, attachments for your weapons that you were using, or you could spend them in wager matches. And essentially what wager matches were the party games that we know and love today, the major difference being you could actually bet your Call of Duty points, and the top 3 placed players would actually win Call of Duty points, and then they could buy more things with that or put them back into wager matches. Now, there were 3 different types of wager matches: high roller, weekend gambler, and for all those low rollers out there, ante-up. So in ante-up, you would bet 10, in weekend gambler, you would bet 1,000, and in high roller, you would bet 10,000. And if you win, you would get 3 times what you put in. So winners would get 33,000 and 30,000 respectively. Now, also, this game mode was home and the first game that some of your favorite party games were in, including Gun Game, One in the Chamber, Sharpshooter, and finally Sticks and Stones. All of which I think are fantastic games, and Sharpshooter and Sticks and Stones, I'm not gonna lie, I really miss and would love to see them come back alone. Now, the other thing that wager matches were incredible for, and I don't think they get enough credit for, is that they had their own designated maps. They would be the same maps as multiplayer, but whittled down to a smaller area. That way they would fit better with the wager match game mode. So for example, certain doorways and corridors were blocked off so you couldn't get to certain sections of the map, once again making it a much faster paced game. Now, based off of what we know now in Call of Duty, we certainly couldn't have wager matches with COD points because those are paid for. However, in Call of Duty World War II, with something like armory credits, I think wager matches would work fantastically for something like this, because you can't buy them with real-world money. But as of right now, they are not in Call of Duty, but definitely something I would like to see return. Coming in at number 9, this one might be a little bit more controversial, but the headquarters from Call of Duty World War II. The way the headquarters worked, it was like a live lobby. Instead of scrolling through menus, you could actually run around, bring your character to individual vendors to either buy things, get challenges, challenge other people to one-on-ones, and eventually there was even challenges where you could shoot down airplanes in the actual headquarters. Now, personally, I thought this was just the beginning for this idea. Yeah, it wasn't fully fleshed out. It didn't work for half of the life cycle of Call of Duty World War II, but I thought it was just the beginning. Other Call of Duties would improvise on it and create bigger and better things out of this idea. However, come Black Ops 4, as we know, this idea was totally scrapped. Will we see this in future Call of Duties? I don't know. I like the idea of it, but as of right now, it's not there. However, one other thing that was in this area that is actually number 8 on the list is the firing range. The firing range is a thing a lot of players really like to test out their classes that they've created. If you put a new attachment on it, want to see how it feels, instead of diving into a game and wrecking your kill death, try it out in the firing range. We have also seen this in other Call of Duty games as well with the virtual firing range, but as we know, once again in Black Ops 4, this is nowhere to be seen, and definitely something I would like to see return in future Call of Duty games. Coming in at number 7, we have leaderboards. And yes, I know most Call of Duty games do have leaderboards, but what I mean is good leaderboards. The last game I remember to legitimately have good leaderboards was Call of Duty Black Ops 1, and it was a super simple feature. Every week, there would be leaderboards that reset. Every month, there would be leaderboards that reset. And basically, every single time they reset, you could grind it out to try to be number 1 and compete with other players. It made it so the leaderboards weren't based off of who played the game the longest, but who played the game the best for that given amount of time. Now, the main reason why we haven't seen leaderboards with this gusto in so long is because Call of Duty is trying to hide the number of players that are playing the game. So if they just eliminated that factor and made it so it was the top 500,000 players or something like that, all of the main players of the game would be on that leaderboard and they wouldn't have to worry about that. So leaderboards, I think, are a thing that are very possible that can come back, and if they do so, make them good. Don't just put them in there to be another feature in the game. Make it so they reset every so often. Make it so that players can grind for those leaderboards. Up next, this is one specifically for Black Ops 4 and one that I know a lot of people really love, and I quite honestly wouldn't be surprised if it is in the next Call of Duty game, but the VSAT, the Blackbird, the HATR, whatever you want to call it, the score streak that is like a UAV but shows you the direction that the enemies are looking. And this one I think is incredibly important to note that I think this was done way better back in the day. Going all the way back once again to Black Ops 1, based off of this video, it seems like I really like Black Ops 1. But anyway, going back to Black Ops 1, the Blackbird was the VSAT in that game. And the reason why it was so good is, first of all, it lasted 45 seconds, which is a pretty damn long amount of time, and it didn't sweep. The UAV was constantly active, constantly showing you where your enemies was. It was an incredibly powerful score streak, one of the best of all time. Now, a way that this has changed in recent Call of Duty is either they've got rid of this score streak and made it so that when somebody calls in 3 UAVs in a row, then it would work as a VSAT, or they have made it so that it is sweeping. So instead of constantly being active, it sweeps like a UAV. Also, in newer Call of Duty games, they can be shot down. Previously, and like I said in Black Ops 1, the Blackbird could not be shot down. And in more recent games, it absolutely could. I don't want that. I want the original Blackbird that lasts 45 seconds, that constantly shows you where your enemies are. That was an incredible score streak. But you can let me know down in the comments how you'd like your VSAT, HATR, Blackbird to work. Let me know down in the comments. This next one is definitely going to be more controversial because I do believe that these were removed for a reason, but this one is pro perks. Now, pro perks, I believe, were in Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, and Modern Warfare 3. I don't think they were in any other games, but if they were, you can correct me down in the comments. And essentially what these were is perks that you could level up, and when they were fully leveled up, you unlocked extra abilities for these perks. Now, where it gets controversial is that some of these perks were really overpowered once you got the pro version. For example, the one that I think got these taken out of Call of Duty is Assassin from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So the regular perk, you are invisible to the enemies, UAVs and advanced UAVs, portable radars, thermal scopes, and heartbeat sensors. Now, a good perk to begin with, but also, once unlocking the pro version, no crosshairs go red when you're aimed at, your name doesn't appear above your head when you're named at, and you were undetectable by Marksman Pro, which was probably one of the most used perks within Modern Warfare 3. So it made it incredibly overpowered, and this is why they were removed from the game. Because you got all of these buffs from the pro perks, the perks were just really goddamn good. But it also made it so that players who'd been playing the game longer would be better soldiers because they would complete the challenges and unlock the pro versions of the perks. However, some players didn't like this as they like to be able to jump in the game right away and have the best of the best things to compete with every single player. So there's definitely positives to pro perks. It gives you something to grind for, gives you some better perks, and there's definitely some negatives to it as well. So what do you think? Are pro perks something that they should bring back in future Call of Duty games, or is that just something they should leave in the past? Let me know down in the comments. Up next at number 4 is obviously nothing to do with multiplayer, but as you can tell by the gameplay, is Extinction from Call of Duty Ghosts. I believe Extinction is the most underrated thing ever in a Call of Duty game. I think Extinction was ahead of its time. I think it was something incredible that just got overlooked because so many people were so fascinated by what Treyarch was doing with zombies, and I think that's also fair. However, looking back on it, Extinction was incredible. It was not a zombies mode, but rather an alien mode, where you had a purpose, you had to get to the last wave, if you will, completing objectives along the way, and if you did so, you could actually escape and move on to the next Extinction map. Zombies with objectives is essentially what Extinction was, and I, looking back on it, absolutely love this game mode and am completely open to them bringing something like this back in the future. But like I said before, let me know what you think down in the comments. Thing number 3 is something I guarantee almost all of you forgot about, and it is something from Advanced Warfare, and it's called speed reloading. No, not fast mags, no, not hybrid mags, not even an attachment, just speed reloading. You see, normally when you reload a weapon, say for example, you shoot 5 bullets out of a 30 round magazine and you have 25 bullets left, you'll actually keep those 25 bullets. However, in Advanced Warfare, you could speed up your reload speed by tapping reload twice, and in doing so, you would drop that entire magazine, losing those 25 rounds, but you would reload faster. So you'd run out of ammo faster. However, as a trade-off, you could also reload faster. It was a really good way of adding a little bit extra of a skill gap to the game, because you could actually pick and choose when you wanted to do that fast reload, and in turn, kind of throw off your enemies because they would kind of think you're still reloading, but really you just dropped that magazine and reloaded faster. This is something I think that would be welcome in any Call of Duty game, and something I'd love to see going forward. And I'm betting that over 50% of the people watching this video either 1, forgot that this was a thing, or 2, didn't even know this was a thing altogether in any Call of Duty game. Now, coming in at number 2, we've got something that was implemented in Modern Warfare 2, and that is the Riot Shield. Now, I definitely think a lot of people are going to say that there is no place in Call of Duty for a Riot Shield, but personally, I think that there is, as long as it's balanced well. And I don't mean like the Riot Shield that's in Black Ops 4, the specialist ability where you can shoot through a Riot Shield as Ajax. I think that's overpowered. In Call of Duty World War II, there was a Riot Shield as the cavalry division. You could carry around a Riot Shield on your back and then pull it out when you wanted to. I specifically mean the weapon itself, like it was in Modern Warfare 2. Now, in Black Ops 2, you could carry around a Riot Shield, actually place it in front of you, and then use it as cover to shoot behind. I think that's even overpowered as well. So I think the reason why we haven't seen the Riot Shield in so long is simply because it's very difficult to balance individually as a weapon. But I think if they did it, it definitely could earn a spot in the game, as it would make taking objectives easier, and especially playing with a good team, you can give them cover. And then the final thing, the number 1 spot, and I think this is something almost everyone agrees with, is specialist streaks. Not the specialists from Black Ops 4, not the specialists from Black Ops 3, literally specialist streaks. Now, if you don't know what these are, they were first implemented in Modern Warfare 3, where every time you would get 2 kills, you would not get a kill streak. Instead, you would get a perk. At 2 kills, 4 kills, 6 kills, and then at 8 kills, you would get every single perk in the game and almost all of the weapons' weapon proficiencies. This was godly. In future Call of Duty games like Call of Duty Ghosts, they would have similar things where when you would get kills, you would get perks instead of score streaks. However, the difference is that in that game, you wouldn't get every single perk in the game upon getting that specialist bonus. And I think that is where other games have gone wrong. I think once you get those 8 kills, you are giving up kill streaks, so you should really become a god player. This is something I think most people would love to see in Black Ops 4 and would love to see in the next Call of Duty game as well. This is also something a lot of people use, as it would make it easier for them to get Moabs, or easier for them to get nukes or chem strikes in Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, I will say that this was implemented into Call of Duty World War II, but it was way later in the game when it was finally implemented. So ladies and gentlemen, those are the 10 best things that were in Call of Duty and then taken away from us. But as always, if I missed anything, feel free to let me know down in the comments, because I actually had some things that didn't quite make the list that maybe we could make a part 2 out of, and maybe if you guys give me enough ideas down in the comments, maybe you'll get your comments featured on a future video. Also, if you enjoy these type of like top 10 videos that I've been making, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button, and as always, if you're new to the channel, like what you see here and want to stay up to date on all my videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on, as they are the best ways to stay up to date on all of my videos. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
Listen.